everyone, hello. So today we'll be doing crop production and harvest, crop production and management. So today is the first part one of this video. So we'll be doing till harvesting. Not harvesting, I mean broadcasting and seed drills. Alright, so first let us start off what is agriculture. So we all know that we get nutrition from food, and this food is obtained from plants and animals. So the process of rearing plants and animals for food is also called growing plants and rearing livestock for food is also called as agriculture. So in this chapter we're going to be learning about what is agriculture and what are the main uses of agriculture. And so that is the reason this is Memorial that we are on week 10. Alright. Get it, guys? So So agriculture actually began about 12,000 years ago. So there, at that time, people were actually growing crops and rearing animals. And crops, so that we were actually dependent on raw fruits and vegetables, and also they were hunting animals for food. So then they discovered that when they plant a seed, they just can grow a new crop from which they could get some food. So from this new crop, so they got food from this new crop. So that is why when agriculture was began. So agriculture, many people became farmers and they settled down in farming communities. Today, nearly about 40% of the globe is employed in agriculture, and the number is higher in India at nearly around 60%. So agriculture actually advanced slowly until about 1,000 years ago. After that, there had been tremendous advances in agriculture. So for example, MS Swaminathan, who introduced the agricultural revolution or the green revolution, as they call it in India, made it possible by importing high-yielding varieties from what is this place? Yeah, from Mexico, and then of wheat. So that we'll learn later in the chapter and the video of part 3 or part 4 or part 2 maybe. So now so this video, so then MS Swaminathan actually for this he also got the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, moving on back, then there's another brand also called as horticulture. So horticulture is another type of agriculture, but it focuses on growing good crops, big fruits, flowers, and decorative plants. So this is called as horticulture. It is actually similar, it's a lot similar to agriculture. Many people consider it a branch of agriculture, but it is usually done on a much smaller scale. So now the next one. So then we have some. Then we also have. Then what is a crop? So many people think the crop and plant are same. Technically, many people think they're the same. Even I think it is the same sometimes, and I use them alternatively. But however, they have a vast difference between them. So crops means actually when a large number of crops are grown at the same place for food, then it is called as a crop. But however, when a large number of crops are not grown at the same place for food, then it is not a crop. So when a large number of wheat plants are actually grown at the same wheat field for food, then it is actually called as a crop. So then there are mainly many types of crops, and cereals were the first crops to be cultivated. So because cereals are cultivated for the nutritious seeds, also called as food grains. So cereals are the most important cereals are rice and wheat, and cereals from the staple food for nearly most of the people in every part of our country. Now let us move on to the types of crops. There are mainly three types of crops. They are plantation crops, so then, after we have rice and wheat, we are moving on to classification of food crops in India. So in India, there are many different types of food crops. They're classified according to the season or the month in which they're grown. They're also known as kharif crops and rabi crops. So kharif crops are usually sown at the beginning of the monsoon season from actually around June to July, and they harvested in September to October. Then, way after the southwest monsoon. So, for some examples are rice, maize, wheat, tea, soybean, pulses, oil seeds, etc. are all kharif crops. However, what are rabi crops first of all? So, rabi crops are actually the total opposite. So, kharif crops require a lot of water, but rabi crops don't. So, rabi crops like wheat, they actually require very little water. Like, very little. So, only need water at different stages during their growth. So, that's the reason rabi crops are also grown during the beginning of the winter season from around like October to November, and the harvested after the end of the winter season. So, for example, from like March to April. The harvested in March and April, not at the end. So, then we have modern systems of agriculture. So, modern agriculture is usually carried out in a very scientific and systematic way. So the crops are grown in such a way to actually ensure that all the crops get equal profit and equal number of and also equal water and etc. So what I feel that is that each of these requirements need to be distributed equally among the crops. So that is why they use this agriculture. So sunlight and air are abundantly available in open fields. But however, if you see, the other requirements need to force the farmer to make a special effort. So now there are many steps of things that which take care of this. And so that's why we're going to learn till seed selections in this video. So the first one is preparation of soil. So first, if you're not supposed to grow plants directly on raw soil, you need to prepare them or make them fertile before the plants are grown. So that is why we use the process of plugging and tilling. So these two processes actually loosen the soil, and the loosening of the soil has the following advantages. So loose soil, it actually has a lot of air trapped in it, so it allows the roots to breathe easily. And it also allows the roots to penetrate more deeper in the soil, which also helps to hold the roots in the soil more firmly, or secure the plant in the soil. Alright, then we also have seed selection and sowing is over. Then we have electrification. So what is electrification? Just kidding, So then a new soil also allows for the growth of earthworms and many more. These also aid in loosening and turning of the soil, and they also help to add lots of nutrients to the soil. For example, now let us move on to tilling and plugging. So plugging is usually done with either a wooden or an iron plug. So plugging actually makes furrows in the soil and also makes the soil more fertile. Then leveling means crushing big lumps of soil that are formed due to plugging. So that's why wooden or an iron leveler is used to crush the crops. Now, if we look at according to the Constitution of India, it has a few forming regulations in it, and it says this thing. So now, it so all of this lays foundation for our food to be produced in food factories. So, for example, these Lay's chips are produced by farmers which grow potato, and yeah, they receive a huge profit for it, and so they live a happy life. While we people here are struggling to even earn a $50,000. Right? I'm calling it. I'm calling it, guys. Alright, then we also have seed selection and sowing. So before we sow, once the soil is prepared, then we can sow the seeds in them. So seed selection and sowing is also this is also known as seed selection and sowing. So what is seed selection and sowing? It means that you select the seeds after the soil is prepared. Now remember, whenever you grow seeds, you need to select those which are healthy and free from diseases. And the seeds should be sown at proper depths in the soil. If they're sown too deep, they won't be able to respond. The shoots might find it difficult to push through the soil. And if they're sown too on the surface, they might be eaten by birds. Seeds should also be sown at the correct distances, and they should have enough water. Now, seeds can be sown manually by sprinkling them into the soil by hand, by a process called broadcasting. But this process is very bad, or it has a disadvantage that the seeds are unevenly distributed. Then we have the test, which is the boss of seed drilling. So seed drill, which is actually a thing which looks like this. Sorry guys, I'm just drawing it like lines where it's curved. So it has a funnel where you keep the seeds in, and the seeds fall through these narrow tubes, and then they get deposited in the soil at equal distance and also proper depth. This ensures that the seeds get covered by soil after they are planted and deposited inside. So that is why this process is also called as seed depositing by seed. And this saves it from being eaten by birds. Now, some plants like rice, tomato, onions, and chilies, they are not planted directly in the soil. However, the seeds are actually made to grow in seed beds, which are also known as nurseries. So, these nurseries also help to grow more seeds. And seeds means more food. So, then they are transplanted when they are seedlings or young plants. And then this helps the farmers to space the healthy seedlings properly while they're planting. So then this increases the crop yield and agricultural production. So there we go, guys. We completed what we promised, and that's too in 15 minutes. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more notifications. So if we reach 3,000 subscribers in 20 days, not 20 days, 15 days, I'm gonna make a 1 hour live stream of cubing and also try to launch my own cubing course. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye bye. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye bye.